First up, you've got your hard hat. Hard hats are good. You'll see them on big sites all the time. Anything above you falls. Good protective layer there. Strong, that prevents that kind of falling. You can imagine if a brick, a screwdriver or anything fell on your head, this would give you that level of protection. So really important to wear on anywhere where you've got something above your head or people working above you. Knee pads. Great. As an electrician, you're going to find yourself kneeling down all the time, whether it's fitting off power points or crawling under a house or in a roof, working on a roof. Can't strongly advise against knee pads anymore. These ones are great. They stuff into your pants and they sit there all day, nice and comfortable, barely feel like you're wearing them until you kneel, and then you'll be incredibly grateful. So, knee pads. Earmuffs. We all know what earmuffs do. They go in your ears, protect you from being able to hear. Very important on any work site, not just when you've got something like a hammer drill or an impact driver or a grinder or something like that, but even when you're on a work site which is just somewhat loud all day, prolonged listening to loud noises is going to damage your ears just as much as short bursts of very loud noises. So very important if you're on a loud site or working by a road or something like that, that you wear some comfortable earmuffs. Long sleeve top. Now these are really important for two reasons. One, added protection from the sun. So you're covered in more places, your arms are covered. You'll find most workplaces, they'll make you wear long sleeve, winter, summer, anytime. And secondly, which is the next one along, high vis. These stripes are going to make you very visible at night, or at least very bright to a car. A lot of workplace accidents come from not being visible and people getting hit by cars or vehicles. The high vis is a super important PPE. So you're all familiar with what this is, your face mask. Very good for PPE. We're using it right now for Corona, but also if you're grinding, you've got silicosis, or if you're in a roof and you're messing around with insulation. Basically, anytime you've got dust and debris, you want to be wearing one of these just to stop stuff coming into your lungs and breathing in. I can't stress enough how horrible some of that stuff is, and sometimes, like asbestos, it's not immediate. It takes a long time for it to affect you. So wear a mask, it's super important. Eye protection. This is a double as well. This is something that everybody should wear at all times. One, because in this particular case, it's got UV protection too, so it's protecting the eyes from the sun. Something you should be conscious of if you're working outside or driving around a lot. You can get long-term damage to your eyes. And two, this is stronger than your average glasses. It's made to prevent anything flying and hitting you in the eye, and as unlikely as that seems in your day-to-day, when you're at a work site and you're cutting, drilling, grinding, moving cables around, you'll find things will just flick up in your eyes all the time. It happens, and I've had all kinds of things taken from my eyes, and trust me, if I was wearing these, I would be a lot happier. So please, eye protection. You can get other versions where they're more goggles, and they're great because they protect anything coming from the side and up down. They don't look as cool. These are my speed dealer sunnies, as I call them. They look tacky, but it's good to look tacky rather than lose an eye. Harness kit. They're really important. You should have one of these in every car, especially if you're working around anything that's got a drop or on a roof. They've got a little harness in here, and if you wear one of these, you should be trained in working with heights and using one of these. You'll have a working at heights card. So this harness here is kind of like your abseiling one, but instead of clipping onto the front like you would abseiling, you tend to clip onto the back. Now this is a fall arrest device. This isn't something you can lean on and climb with. This is there and it's meant to hang and be quite taunt, but you're not meant to be able to hold yourself on this. This isn't something you climb with. This is something that if you fall, it catches you. And it's got a strap here that will lessen the fall. So what happens is when it goes taut and it gets enough weight, it will snap and it'll extend a little bit, and it'll give you that kind of softening of the blow. Some important things to remember about this is, one, if you do fall, you've got to chuck away the device, it's no good, it's a single-use thing. Two, they've got a date on them, so they expire after a certain time, and you should always check them to see if there's any frays or cuts in them, or if they're dirty or damaged, to keep them clean. And three, don't take someone down who's been used by one of these things. So if they've fallen, you've got to be very careful. There's a symptom called toxic shock, where when you get constricted on the harness, as you will when you fall, that your blood gets cut off and some chemicals can build up in there. And if you were to release them, there's a chance that they'll go into toxic shock and it can lead to death. So harness kit, very important. Steel cap boots, okay? One that every tradie is going to wear on any site anywhere, unless you're going inside at a person's house. Even then, I'd recommend you get some clean ones and wear them in their house. The steel capping on the end is going to prevent your toe from being crushed up to a certain extent, and it's a very important bit of gear because we work around a lot of things that are heavy and things that can fall, and this is a very important thing to wear. You can't work anywhere without it. You can't even be in the workshop without it. So steel cap boots is one that is just a given. We all wear it. Sunscreen. Sunscreen's PPE against the sun. That's something that's super important. Sun damage, sun cancer, skin cancer is something that affects you down the track most of the time, and it's something that the damage gets caused now. So every time you're out in the sun, you should put some sunscreen on. It's a great way to put PPE. On the same topic, a hat while you're outdoors is going to protect you from the sun and also protect you away from the heat a bit. So invest in a good hat, or make sure your company's got a good hat. Broad brimmed or Legionnaire one with the back, something to protect you from the sun.